In Consumer Corner, we take a look at trends and products creating a buzz here in China. On today's show, we'll discuss accusations of fraud and price gouging in the market for down coats in China. This year, China's entered one of the coldest winters in recent decades. The cold front has descended on many provincial capitals, with temperatures in some normally mild climates dropping below 0 Fahrenheit. The cold spell has had mothers throughout China endlessly repeating one of their favorite phrases, 多穿一点儿, put on some more clothing. But now a favored winter coat has come under intense scrutiny for quality and price issues, down coats. The Chinese media has paid a lot of attention to the price of down coats since this winter started. Down coats have gradually become a luxury product, with prices climbing by an average 15% year on year. An ordinary brand name down jacket often costs more than 1,000 yuan or $160, while the coats sold in department stores go as high as 2,000 yuan or $320. Even the cheapest jackets still start at no less than 800 yuan. But an investigative report by the Beijing Times revealed that the total cost of production on the coats went no higher than 300 yuan or $48. That's less than half of the lowest selling price. Expenditures on the popular white duck down feathers were just 20% of the total cost, going for around $10. Even a jacket filled with the 90% premium goose down has just $25 worth of its most precious ingredient. The high markups between production and sale have angered Chinese consumers and led many to take a closer look at quality issues. As early as 2009, the Beijing Consumer Association ran a study of down jackets, finding that only 26% met quality standards advertised. The association said that jackets by domestic brand 361 Degrees and foreign brand Zara both overstated the amount of down in their products. Other brands labeled their product as premium goose down, when in fact the feathers came from regular ducks. In an attempt to prove their authenticity, many down jackets have begun attaching an inflated clear label that contains a sample of the down used in the actual jacket. But despite the good intentions, 80 cents might not sound like much, but at the time it accounted for about 10% of average monthly wages. Further, parents who had only one child all the way through retirement were entitled to a one-off one-child allowance for their sacrifice for the nation. Those carrots may have been some compensation in the early 1980s, but recent media reports show that over the intervening 30 years, the fees have remained unchanged. With massive growth in wages and prices, the 5 yuan monthly subsidy has dwindled to around 0.1% of wages. Put together, two parents, one child subsidy in Beijing could now just barely afford a cab ride of under 3 kilometers. Zhang Dongsheng, a member of the Communist Party's Political Consultative Conference, has long appealed for improvements to the policy and has demanded increases in monthly payments and in retirement bonuses. Since 2003, the one-time payment at retirement in Beijing has been set at $160, less than half of 1 month's average pension payment, and a pathetically small reward for denying oneself a second child. Some regional governments have made efforts to increase the one-child allowances. For example, Shanghai raised monthly payments to nearly $5 per person and the one-time bonus at retirement to just over $800 per person. Still, conference member Zhang has criticized these very modest increases as completely inadequate for keeping up with the rising costs of inflation and caring for elderly parents. Further irritating observers is the huge and growing gap between the size of carrots and sticks used to implement the policy. In Beijing, fines are calculated according to the parent's income. Each parent must pay 10% of their monthly salary for 7 years, plus 50% of any bonuses for 1 year if they have a second child. Based on the average monthly wage of about $750 in Beijing, it would cost at least $12,590 for a family trying to have a second child in the city. According to estimates by the Procuratorial Daily, China collects $4.47 billion worth of fines for exceeding one-child limits each year. Netizens have responded to media reports by lamenting the measly subsidies and decrying the heavy punishments. One poster wrote, "If we look at the problem from the angle of compensation, would it be okay to have a second child if we paid 5 yuan a month? Besides, nowadays, how many parents are actually still given this bit of money?" User Yo You Good